Hi, folk. This lesson will be about extended access with the sharing rules. Okay, now let's read a little bit the theory with me in order to understand what we're talking about. Our awkward default sharing setting give you a relatively restrictive baseline level of access for each object if you have awkward sharing defaults of public, read-only, or private. You can open access backup for some users with sharing rules. This enables you to make automatic exceptions to your awkward sharing settings for select sets of users. Each sharing rule has three components. Share which records. You can share records owned by certain users or meeting certain criteria. Criteria based sharing rules determine what records to share based on field values other than ownership. The second, with which users. You can define groups of users by role, by territory, or by defining a public group. A public group is an admin defined grouping of users that can be used to simplify the creation of sharing rules. Depending on the group member types available in our org. Public groups can be a combination of individual users, roles, roles and subordinates, territories, territories and subordinates are the public groups. What kind of access? You can assign either read only or read write access. Should we use a sharing rule? Let's go through the set of required permissions we still want to implement and pick out the ones that work best with the sharing rules. Recruiters need read and update access on every position, candidate, job application, and review records that exist in the app. Yes, as we discussed previously, it's easy to pick out the group of recruiters in our role hierarchy. Hiring managers needs to read and update access on position and job posting records on which they are the hiring manager. No, it's too hard to predict which position will be assigned to which hiring manager. We'll need to handle this use case some other way, such as sharing each job position record via a manual sharing rule. Mhm. Hiring managers need to read access on candidate records on which they are the hiring manager. Now, again, it's too hard to predict which position will be assigned to which hiring manager. Hiring manager need read and update access on every job application and review record. Yes. Since we are not restricting which job application and reviews a hiring manager gets to read and update, we can easily pick out all of the hiring managers from our role hierarchy and define a sharing rule for them. So these examples showed you that not always we may use these sharing rules. And sometimes it is even better to use the manual sharing for every record, for each record. Yeah, and now we will try to define a public group. Using a public group when defining and sharing rules makes the rules easier to create and, more important, easier to understand later, especially if it's one of many sharing rules that you are trying to maintain in a large organization. Create a public group if you want to define a sharing rule that encompasses more than one or two groups or roles, or any individual. From the setup in the Quick Finder, enter public groups and then select public groups. Click New. But where? Okay, create new.